This is the voice of the report of the week, signing on. Hello? How are we all doing? Today. I don't know when this is going to be up. I truly don't. I'll be honest with you, I'm recording this as of 3:31 a.m. Thursday morning, Thursday the 26th of June, 2014, 3:31 a.m. So that's when this is being recorded, at least. When are we listening to this? I don't know. I haven't made up my mind yet. I don't think I'm going to upload it today. I really don't. I just uploaded the food review for you. Just uploaded the food review for you yesterday. The KFC one. And I hope, well, it wasn't KFC. I'm thinking about KFC, though. What was it for? Planet Wings. Chicken, right? Both of them are chicken, so you can't really blame, well, you can blame. That was my mistake. Hot gourmet garlic wings from Planet Wings, of course. So that was my latest review, and I got that up yesterday. So, with that being said, I really don't think I'm going to put up this VORW show today. Maybe tomorrow, the 27th, or Saturday, the 28th. I think I'm going to put it up maybe either Friday night or Saturday. There's going to be 3 videos at least coming up those 2 days, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, today's show is going to be an interesting one. Got a frog in my throat. Excuse me for a minute. Let me get a glass of water here. As I do with every VORW show. Why don't you come more prepared, lecturer review, bro? I don't. I make these on the spot, with no prior planning whatsoever, and I feel that's the way they should be. These VORW shows. In that case, it's complete improv, and it's a good way for my own creativity to both test it and exercise it. No, I don't have any creativity. That's the point. How about we get 2 ice cubes in the glass of water this time. Alright, and we are set for a good old lecture. So, what does today's show consist of? I'm going to try to give a good long talk. We're going to cover the history of this YouTube channel. We're going to get an in-depth look at it. Alright? I know many of you might have shown up here in the pan pizza video, or even more recently than that nowadays. I think the majority of my audience actually came post January 2013. So whenever you showed up, you might not know too much about this channel, but it actually does have quite the history behind it. And we'll talk about it. And hopefully it'll cover maybe a few questions you have about this, so I hope you enjoy it. I do. But anyway, how are you doing today? On this maybe Friday or Saturday, whenever it is, whenever this is up. I hope you had a good day at work, or relaxing, or sitting in, or whatever you did today. I hope you did, if you were working, whatever, hope everything went well, everything went on par. Hope you had a good day. Yeah, my day today, and this is coming from Wednesday, was pretty solid. Woke up at 2 p.m. In part because I got a 3-hour sleep the night before. So I slept for a very long time. Slept from 3 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's a record of late. Of course, the most I've ever slept in total was 15 hours, but 11 isn't bad. That is for sure. But after that, I pretty much sat around my father's at home. Now he, I don't know, at work or something, injured his back. Nothing's broken, it's just, sprained or something. And Yes, of course, you're in pain if you have a back injury or something. Nothing's misaligned or nothing's broken or anything. It's just all bruised up and all that. So of course, sitting down and getting back up, that could be painful. So he's just resting. But he's already doing better than he was a few days ago. So, with that being said, I just got him, did stuff around the house, that's it. Tried out the shortwave radio again. Hooked up the antenna outside and got some pretty good reception of the stations. Sat out on the deck in the backyard from 5 until 6 and listened. It comes with headphones, so I listened via the headphones to, I really didn't want any of my neighbors hearing that stuff, whatever, Let's say the neighbor next to me decides to come out on his deck and just enjoy nature, and there's this radio blasting next door with the Holy Quran or some Christian fundamentalist or a Cuban numbers station. You don't want to hear that. So I listened through the headphones. And I think that was more of a convenience than anything else. Anyway, let's just read some fan mail. Okay. Yeah, let's start out here. Taco Bell breakfast menu. Hello. First of all, I love the reviews. You consider doing a review for items on the new Taco Bell breakfast menu. Thank you so much for your consideration. Keep up the good work. Taco Bell is a interesting place. There's one nearby since I did the crunch wrap or whatever that's called, that triangular piece of bleep. The grilled stuffed nacho, that was it. So there's one nearby. I can do it. But there's bad traffic near it, and it's out of the way. So what I would normally do is go over there for a meal, and then pick up one item I would review. The likelihood of me doing the breakfast menu from there is slim. I don't know if they have only like an allotted time you could, order it or something, but if you could only order stuff on the breakfast menu from, like, say, whatever, 6 to 11 a.m., I'm not going to be able to review it because I'm going to be sleeping through that. I mean, I normally go to bed at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., so that's not a possibility for me, and it's unfortunate, but it's the truth. So, chances are I'd be able to maybe review some other item during the mid or late afternoon. That new wrap or something they've got going. Maybe we'll do that one day when I finally venture out and do it. Get it done. The great words of Nike. Is that correct? No, it's not Nike. What was it? What was the company that said get it done? I don't even know what I'm talking about, people. Forget it. Thought there was some slogan for some company that said get it done. But I guess not. Whatever, it's a good saying anyway. Get it done, right? Stupid. Hey, review bro. Made some fan art based on your most recent review. Hope you like it. Solid. I do like it. There it is. That's actually going to be the background we'll use this time around. It's a solid one. It's a fine one. And I like it. There you go. Second one. Isn't that something? I like this one. I really like the Colonel Sanders in the background there. Nice touch. Solid. Oh, now this guy. This is a fine person right here. First, VO2. First, want to say that you are a good breath of fresh air. You have a level of class that I don't see much of, and I sense that you are reincarnate from the 40s and 50s, a period which I really do love. I'm hardcore into nostalgia and Americana, and I'm mainly following your shortwave material. In one of your videos, you said that you don't think VO2 is still transmitting. Just to let you know, VO2 is still operating. Been catching it on 14.373 and 11.462 kilohertz. And then last night, at 1 a.m., it was on 10.345 kilohertz. Signal is rather good in the Wisconsin area. So anyway, I'll keep up the good work. So I actually immediately responded to him there. I said I got a shortwave radio now, so I'm definitely gonna try it out, see my reception, and don't you think? Actually, I did hear it, heard it tonight. It was booming in on I think it was maybe 14375 or 14373. That was it. Booming in here in the New York area. Solid signal strength. That was really good to see at that station from Cuba. It was a Cuban numbers station, still on the air. Dear sir, could you discuss teas in your next show? What teas do you drink? Are they bagged or loose leaf? What is your method of preparation? And which tea is your favorite? I'd really enjoy hearing your words on this subject. Teas have a wide variety of complex flavors and offer much joy. Thanks, George. Alright, tea. You know, I am a tea drinker myself. I want to get into it more, but I am a tea drinker. I'll make myself a cuppa every now and then. So I could dedicate some time in the next show to it. I think we could easily do it. Dear VORW, I was curious if you could elaborate a little bit in your next show about how you reconcile your love of Jerry Garcia ties with your disdain of hippie culture. There are more than a few folks out there who would agree that Jerry Garcia and his former band, the Grateful Dead, were hippie icons. That is true. I think it is important to realize that the two can coexist. As a young man in my 20s, I entered the business world, working in finance in downtown Manhattan. When I remember back to those times, I remember a world I believe you would love. Our suits were always sharp, and your tie was your statement for the day. And the work ethic was always top-notch. Absolutely, that would be great, I do say. I was surprised also to find many of my sharp-suited colleagues also had an affinity for the Grateful Dead and had attended many of the same concerts I went to. We actually found it easy to reconcile our enjoyment of the hippie culture with our capitalist ventures in the greatest city on earth. Looking forward to future VORWs. They really have been making my commute more enjoyable lately. Well, absolutely, and it's a pleasure to receive this from you. Now on to the answer to your question. It is a quandary if you think of it. How could this anti-hippie, ultra-traditionalist go on to say and wear neckwear, at least designed or with an influence of a hippie icon, Jerry Garcia? While hippies themselves, you know I'm not a big fan of, when you come to think of it, they're pretty much the complete opposite of everything, at least much of what I stand for. Many of them had, no morals, whatsoever. They were open to drugs and sex and all that stuff, and while you understand my thoughts on drugs and all that, they were pretty much against the man, the establishment, everything in society of that time. And that's pretty much what ended, the formality that had existed in society for hundreds of years. The hippies pretty much ended it because it was such a massive movement at the time, and you know that. But I recognize talent when I see it. And I mean not to sound pretentious, it's the truth, though. And Jerry Garcia certainly had it. He was an acclaimed musician, regardless of if he was a hippie or not. A lot of those bands from the 1960s, those icons, they were legends, many of them. Even the Rolling Stones, all those groups. Mostly rock bands, of course. Jimi Hendrix, if you want to consider him a hippie, I know he played at Woodstock. Of course, the Grateful Dead. I recognize talent when I see it. And all of these people were extremely talented individuals. And I can't just brush them off just because they were hippies or they were, an influence to or by the hippies. I can't. And while their music is beautiful, some of the artwork, say of Jerry Garcia, which created this neckwear for the most part, of course, it was most likely heavily influenced by drugs and psychedelics and all that stuff. The product is absolutely beautiful. And I recognized that it was. And I actually liked the product. It appealed to me. So I purchased it. And I didn't purchase just one Jerry Garcia tie. As of now, let's see how many I have here. I have at least 6 Jerry Garcia ties. I have I have a red one, a lighter red one, a dark red one, a blue one, a yellow one. Actually, it's gold and yellow, and a black and silver one. Yeah, 5 Jerry Garcia ties. And that's saying something. My father actually has, I think, 2 Jerry Garcia ties, which are like originals. They're old, but in good condition, and he'll wear them every now and then. But there's my answer. I wish I could have been more articulate for you, my friend, and I hope you at least know what I was getting at. A favor. How's it going? Hope you're enjoying all the time left to yourself. During my early summer vacation, I was very lucky to have a PC in my room instead of a more communal room. Spent a huge amount of time playing RPGs and listening to what music I can through the terrible P2P programs that existed back then. Regrettably, YouTube wasn't around yet, and I'd stay up until 4 or 5 a.m. playing PS2 games, particularly Armored Core series. Those were incredible days, and the fact that you're doing radio shows and videos leaves you already doing more constructive things than what I did. Anywho, sorry to ramble on. That had me feeling nostalgic. I was wondering if you could do me a huge favor. I'd been working on some comic art for some time, but my focus has been on faces for the longest time, and I have not done much research on clothes, so it's left me scrambling to find some cool garb for my characters to wear. Do you have some names or images of interesting menswear that has a lot of character? Think detectives, gunmen, and here's a recent image to draw. I'm working on a black suit with white pinstripes. If nothing comes to mind, no worries. Oh yeah, I'll get back to you. Definitely, I'll get a few images for you. To make a long message even longer, here's a noise/electronic group from the 80s. Assembly of sounds reminds me of shortwave radio. Give it a minute and a half to get it rolling. Thank you for your time, Report of the Week. And thank you for yours. You are, and there's actually a few people out there also, and you know who you are, who I consider my regulars. And they're the fans of mine who send me messages regularly. And I definitely recognize their name, when they come up. And they're all great people and really supportive people, and for them I actually thank very much. But this person is a regular of mine, and I'll be glad to help. I'll get you a few suits and garments and all that stuff. Great artwork, by the way. He actually did a piece for my VORW show, which I featured. This group is Severed Heads, Goodbye Tonsils. Check them out. That's the musical group, of course. Continuing on. Hello again. I'm sorry to hear in your last VORW that you struggle with depression. I do as well. Trust me, I know how bad it can be. For what it's worth, just remember you have fans who truly care about you and ignore any and all haters. They're just jealous that they will never have your impeccable sense of style, your wit, and your charm. Hoping this finds you well. It has found me, and I really do thank you for your kind words. It's almost relieving to know, when I have an issue, that there's at least people out there who can relate in some aspect. Or know what it feels to go through certain difficulties and what have you. So thank you for sending me that. Hello again, report of the week. Sometimes I put off things for no reason. One time I owed like $70 in library fines, even though I had the books on campus in my backpack and walked by the library every day. What I'm getting at here is that even though it's pretty after the fact, thanks for reading my fan mail on the VORW show. Made my day. Oh, happy birthday, man. No problem at all. I'm always glad to read any fan mail of any sort, be it somewhat appropriate. I try to have some standards on this show. But it was a pleasure to read your fan mail. Absolutely, and I'm glad I was able to make your day with that. Stranger says hi. Love your style, videos, and personality. We can keep making more videos. If you ever get the chance to review some classic films, have you seen The Passion of Joan of Arc? A classic. Maybe so. Film reviews, isn't that interesting? Fast food and burgers. Hey, why don't you just review stuff like hamburgers and other things from fast food joints? Keep up the good work, bro. Sorry. Yeah, the burgers. I review them. I review burgers. Sorry. I do review burgers from fast food places, though. And I have been doing so for so long. And the reason you might not be seeing a lot of burger reviews right now is simply because over the years I've cleared out the entire menu of many local fast food establishments. And I really don't have anything left to review. It's the sad truth. I've got Burger King, but that place is so far out of the way and the traffic there is so horrible, the food will be cold by the time it gets here. But if there ever comes another burger to review, it will be done. Dear review, bro. Appreciate your openness in your last VORW. Thanks for the average day video. I really enjoyed it. I had a good balance. 2 requests. An in-depth review of your fancy new radio. Oh, absolutely. You know what? I'm making that video tomorrow. I am. I'm gonna make a review of it for you tomorrow. I'm gonna do it. Why not? It's a product review. Why? I'll do it. As long as you're giving them out, I request for you to bless this mess. My room needs cleaning. Thanks and keep being awesome. Absolutely. I bless your room, this mess, as you call it. But honestly, your room, if it needs cleaning, you've got this. I'm giving you motivational advice here. Just get a rough plan, a rough outline. Pace yourself, take breaks, have a goal in mind, and get it taken care of. And work one area of the room at a time, alright? Don't sort through everything while it's there. Literally, if it's all junk that you really don't care about, get a trash bag, throw it all in there, and then take it someplace else and sort through it. There's my suggestion for you. That's how I clean out some places. Because otherwise, if you just spend time picking through stuff, nothing's going to get done. But you've got this with your room. It's going to be fine. Do not worry. I have my hope in you and my trust in you. You've got this, my friend. You do. Well, you've inspired me to start my own reviewing channel. What tips could you give me? Reviewing. Number 1, you got to keep cool on camera. Alright? And this is from my standpoint, and many may not agree with it. But there's a few tips I could give you here. Be informative, alright? Be informative, but tell it as it is. Don't search around for the right adjective to describe whatever it is you're going to be reviewing. Just be concise and articulate, but say it as it is. Don't waste time trying to find the right words. And that's the truth. Likewise, what I advise you to do is to try to avoid profanity as much as possible when doing a review. If you're doing any other video, say a gaming, video, or some stupid video, showing someone falling down, or a comedy video or something, that's fine. But when doing a review video, please try to avoid profanity. Why? Because a lot of these people watching the review want to see professional person doing professional review. You know, when they think, alright, who are you going to trust more for review? You know, some guy, and I'm not being stereotypical, I'm just saying it as it is. You know, some guy who's, whatever, sitting there with an F-bomb every other word. Or someone who's at least more professional sounding. It's only logical, the person with the more professional language. And I advise you to keep it clean and keep it professional. What I also advise you to do for a viewing channel is that you don't know who's going to be watching this. And believe me, there's more than you think. When you review certain products, and it's more often than you think, too, trust me, it's happened to me so many times. The company of the product that you reviewed is going to watch the video. Okay? The company of the product you reviewed is going to watch the video. And they're going to try to communicate with you. They're going to say, oh, I saw your review, I work for blah, blah, blah. Would you like this product? Or say thank you for the review. You're going to have professional businessmen and women, maybe even CEOs, looking at your content. So please don't say if you don't like their product. Don't say, oh, this effing sucks. Say, oh, it could have had more, it needs more improvement on this. You know, the choice of language is key. Same thing if it's good. The choice of words is key. And finally, presentation. Alright? As I said before, presentation is key. And when it comes to style of dress, I'm not saying wear suits or anything like that. But at least try to dress appropriate. Don't wear some stained t-shirt with a big graphic picture of a middle finger on it or something while you're doing the review. Wear a polo shirt or something. I don't care if you're going to wear like a polo shirt or a button-down shirt or a collared shirt with your boxers underneath if you're just sitting down. At least from the waist up if you're sitting down. Try to keep it professional looking. Most reviewers nowadays, or at least a few reviewers I've seen, more than you think, keeping a professional appearance when they do their reviews. And that's something to keep note of. Otherwise, just be confident, keep cool, have a good head and a good attitude, and you'll be fine. Alright, that is all. That is all the fan mail we have for today. And we wasted a lot of time on it, 27 minutes. But I think we got 30 more minutes or so left, I feel, before we have to close down. I'm going to give you a little announcement right now, alright? Nearly 4 a.m., okay? Now, this is going to be a longer show, but I know there's some of you out there listening, so it's really no issue of mine. Let's tune to this frequency here, have some music. 6095, that's Transport Radio. Have some good music usually. But anyway. Before we start our lecture, may I offer a short announcement, if you will. And I'll say this in depth. You know how much I enjoy to read the fan mail. You know it. I really enjoy hearing from each and every one of you. And it's something I really do look forward to. Now, with that being said, starting on, I believe, June 30th, it is. Let's confirm that here. June 29th, I'm sorry. Starting June 29th, and going from June 29th to around July 10th, I will be taking a brief break, if you will, from YouTube. It's only right, it's only reasonable. I do this so often, and so much, it will be a brief break. Now, from a viewer's standpoint, you're not even going to notice it. I discovered when it comes to uploading videos, there's a feature called scheduled uploading. And I already have a broadcast schedule and programming laid out. So you're still going to be getting content on a regular basis through this time, as if nothing has changed at all. However, for me, the broadcaster's standpoint, it's going to be a major thing. I'm not going to be really doing anything with the YouTube channel in that, 10-day period, or 9, or whatever I decide it to be. I'm just going to be kicking back and relaxing and taking a much-needed casual break. It's no reason, really, to do so. Just a slight break. But content will be uploaded regularly, so you have nothing to worry about. Only one change is that you won't be able to communicate with me directly in that period of time. You won't be able to. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. But what I ask of you, kindly, is to still send your mail like you normally would. Send your fan mail. And I will respond to it when I get back. I'm probably going to do 1, if not 2, VORW shows back to back, dedicating a lot of time to reading fan mail, because I have a policy that I will respond to each and every one of you, somehow, some way. Mostly through this method, but sometimes a written reply will do as well. So that's the deal. So, chances are you won't get a response to your fan mail until like July the 10th, July the 9th, July the 11th, whatever that date may be. So I'll tell you that. Alright? But just letting you know now, from your standpoint, nothing changes. So keep that in mind. Of course, if there's some sort of issue with the stupid YouTube, which I wouldn't be too surprised, and if either the videos all upload immediately or if they don't upload at all, I apologize in advance. Now on to the show. This might go over an hour, but no, it's not. No. We got 30 minutes to talk, and 30 minutes is more than you think. More than I think. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, this channel. The report of the week. It's been active since February 20th, 2011. I've been making videos weekly. Nowadays, bi-weekly, tri-weekly. As of late. But there's more than you think there is to this channel. Oh yeah, it's some dude in a suit reviewing things and giving lectures. What more there is to it? There's a lot more to it, actually. I have a whole little history and stories and questions and answers about this channel. Especially about the early days, pre-January 2013. But all the things that go along with it. And it gives you a whole new look at this channel. When I was still there doing my thing, pretty much nobody knew about it. And I have adventures and stories and all that stuff, and I'd like to share it with you. Alright. So let's start from the beginnings, shall we? And hopefully this will answer a few of your questions. I hope it does. But if you have any more questions about the channel, feel free to share them with me, and that's where I come in with the fan mail thing. I'm still going to make another final lecture where I'll answer fan mail as of Sunday. And that'll probably go up midweek next week. But after that, I could guarantee you the next VORW, probably the next 2 VORWs after that one will be music programs. And that'll be about it. Maybe with short topics about whatever. Maybe I'll talk about tea. So, that'll be that. But if you have any questions about the channel, please ask. You know me. I'll get to them. For those of you listening that in, you'll hear your answer. You'll hear your question answered. I don't skip any questions with the VORW thing. So, trust me, just send them. It might take a few extra days, but they'll get answered. But let's start from the basics, alright? 2011, alright? I was a little guy back then. You think of it now, it's only 3, getting closer to 4 years ago. 4 years, wow, since 2011, isn't that crazy? Think of it as it was just yesterday. Life goes fast, I tell you that, make the most of it. I'm never going to see 2011 again. Never going to be that age again. Make the most of it. But likewise, back then I was a little guy. I was a younger individual. And it was early 2011. I don't think it was quite late 2010. But it was definitely early 2011. We attained a new camera. It was a digital one at the time. We've downgraded in quality subsequently. But it was a digital camera at the time. And, no one was really doing anything about it. And, my father would film maybe some scenes of nature when he would go out, walking and hiking. For recreational activities, he might film something every now and then, but other than that, nothing. We weren't using it at all. And completely unrelated to the camera. There's the camera. That's how we filmed it. But I remember one day being in the supermarket. Might have been an A&P. I remember walking past the energy drink section. And I remember seeing all these cans lined up. Monster, Red Bull, Rockstar, Amp, all the big brands, all the name brands of energy drinks. I remember looking at them with their colorful cans and seeing the big Monster claw illuminated in that almost neon green color. And everything else there. I remember thinking, number one, what do these taste like? And number two, how long do these last for? I thought, there's so many of these out there. There's a ton of them. Surely there must be some variation among all of them. And at the same time, in 2011, 5 Hour Energy was really starting up, and they had a massive advertising campaign back then. Their name was getting plastered literally on every surface. So those energy shots started coming about. Nowadays, the 5 Hour energy shots and all those knockoff brands. Yeah, they're there. But they're not as big as they were in 2011, that's for sure. And that's a trend I've noticed. I know they have that cherry or the strawberry one or something that they released for the soldiers. I might buy one of those just to support the cause, but it depends how much of my money actually goes to the charity they're donating to. Aside from that. So I thought, what do all these energy drinks taste like? Now, originally, I wasn't even going to upload any of this stuff to YouTube. I wasn't. I was actually just going to do this as a study just for my own interest. I actually was. I had a sheet of paper written out, a little chart on it with different energy drink names, flavor and effectiveness, all listed out, and price. And I was originally just going to do it that way. Just for myself, personal, no publicity, nothing. I wasn't interested in that, and I still do these just to... When I do these to help my audience and help the public, but I also enjoy making them, and they're fun to make. All these videos and these reviews. That's why I still make them. Certainly morale has to be high somewhere to keep doing this. But originally I just had a sheet of paper and I was just going to do them. And I remember actually starting it out. My first energy drink ever was a Monster. I remember having it and I actually enjoyed it, and maybe that's why Monster is my favorite energy drink for daily consumption. Maybe that's why, but I enjoyed it and I filled it out on the chart, and then I tried Rockstar, which I thought was a piece of trash. Then I tried out a 5 Hour Energy and a Red Bull. I marked them all out on the chart. And then I remember somewhere on YouTube one night, maybe it was after I had one of those energy drinks, of course, when you're younger and when you really don't have too much caffeine, your body becomes extremely susceptible to small amounts of caffeine. So of course I was up the whole night after having one of these. Nowadays I could have a full Monster and not even notice any difference. Shows you how you could either say experienced or damaged my body has become. Who knows, right? YOLO swag. But regardless of that, Of course, I was up late, and I was on YouTube. And I remember watching this food review on YouTube. It was by a user named Pizza Wars. Pizza Wars being the name of the YouTube channel. I think he's still around. He became suddenly inactive, both on his website and on his YouTube channel in early 2012. And I really hope he didn't die or something. But I've always been nervous about that, because he made videos pretty much weekly, updated his website weekly, and then in early 2012 he just stopped abruptly with no further notice and no further activity. So I really hope he didn't die or anything like that, but who knows. It's just odd. But there was this YouTube channel, and he's still around. You can look it up, Pizza Wars. And he did pizza reviews. And I thought to myself, that's really cool. And I looked at the camera I had, the HD camera, and the energy drinks I was fascinated with. And then it clicked. You know, how about I do energy drink reviews? How about I publish the findings of my study on energy drinks? It was pretty much a study I was doing. How about I publish it on YouTube for the world to see? So, that Sunday, the 20th of February, 2011, set up the camera. The early days, my family was actually very eager to help me out here. And we didn't have a good tripod yet. So one of my family members actually held the camera for me in the first few reviews. But, you know, we did it. Got it done. Did you know the first review actually is in... we originally did a first. It was actually the second filming, because the real first review was actually filmed the wrong way. So it would have came out sideways. And now I know there's intelligent editing software where you could flip the video and rotate it and all that. But the program I was using back then didn't have any of that. So we were kind of screwed. So, we filmed it again the right way. And it worked out well. And thus, the report of the week was born. And the whole thing with the suits is no joke. That's what I've been wearing every single day since probably 08, 07. When I became independent in my manner of dress. So that's just like the cherry on top, you know. But, of course, the first video was published that night. I remember actually checking back, and I was astonished to see that my first video the same night had like 40 views. You know, and even now 40 views is a decent amount. 40 people, assuming some person just didn't refresh the page over and over again. But 40 people, that's a solid room full of people that saw it on the first night. I thought that was really something. And of course, things quieted down the next day, but I still thought that was something. I thought that was cool. Thus, the report of the week was born. So I continued to produce reviews. Video 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., etc. Doing the same thing. And at first, I was under the impression that I would simply be publishing the study or the findings of my little study of energy drinks. So I was just going down the list. I covered all the 5-hour energy drinks, which are, once again, very popular for the time. The classics, Monster, that was review number 2. And actually, remember, after I did review number 2, I remember actually I felt good. And I think that was the last time I ever felt good after making these videos. No, I'm just kidding. I always feel good after making these. It's always nice to... I feel like when I stand at the microphone here and pace about the room, I feel like I'm actually just freely talking. I am. I'm just freely talking. And it's a nice thing to do, but maybe allow me to rephrase that. At the end of the second energy drink review, the Monster one, it was the last time I felt legitimately maybe excited and joyous. You know, there's a difference between feeling good and being like joyous, you know, feeling literally warm inside, great and all that. And that was the last time I ever felt that after making one of these videos. But after that review, I remember saying, this is awesome. I think it's turning out really well. And I suppose you could say it did, or you could say it was a miserable failure, because now you have this, the product of my experiment, if you will. But, either way, however you want to perceive it, be it good or bad, this is what we've got. But that was the last time I really did feel like that. Now, Energy Drink Review 3 got some attention recently from the literal scum on a site known as Twitter. Literal scum, that's just my words for them. To feel they have the right, the obligation to, mock others simply for promotion of themselves and publicity. Because, of course, it's cool to pick on the guy they perceive as weaker. So these people, they're a literal cancer to society. But they shall always be around, and there's nothing I could do about them. I was going to talk about them more in this show, but I told myself, no. Put them behind me. So I did. But I figured this would just be an adequate time to bring it up. But review number 3. For a while, it was actually the most popular one. And if you watch it right now, yeah, I get it. Back then, I was more spastic, if you will. But you gotta think of it this way, okay? A lot of people nowadays, when they watched review number 3, I think it was Fuel, the drink being, was one of those knockoff brand energy shots when they were popular. People watching it now said, oh, this guy is mentally retarded. They made sure to use that word. Oh, he has autism, definitely. Autism meter through the roof. Those are some of the real winners I saw today in regards to that video. And that's what the people of 2014 think when they see this video. But to get an accurate understanding of it, you would have had to know me. And you would have to have at least a brain to realize that when this was filmed, I was only but a young individual. Back then, of course, it was the very tail end. But some of that enthusiasm, and stamina and excitement from my childhood years still lingered. So I was legitimately, excited to be doing this. And also remember, it was the 3rd time in my life, ever, to be standing, or sitting, I suppose, in front of a camera for the entire world to see. Of course, I didn't think, more than maybe 100 people would ever see this. But still, that's 100 people. You gotta think of it, that's like sitting in a small lecture hall with 100 pairs of eyes looking right at you. That's a decent amount of people still. And at the time, it was the 3rd time in my life to ever do that. What did I have to base that off of? This pizza reviewer that never even showed his face on camera. But still, that guy gave me inspiration and started this entire thing. Pizza Wars. So, of course I was nervous. But I really didn't think about it. This whole thing was new to me, so with my pent-up excitement, I'm sure my little heart was already racing at the time. Of course, during the whole thing, I was generally maybe even over the top. So when it was bad, I made it sure it was terrible. Once again, a little more spastic, but I was just being a kid. And there's no reason to say, oh, he's acting like a kid, which I was back then, so he's clearly retarded, They'll be like saying, oh, yeah, you see that's, of course I was older than this, so once again, the very tail end, but, for example, you see that 10-year-old over there on the playground running around and having fun? The hell's wrong with him? Nobody should be, running around and acting all crazy like that. He's clearly retarded. That's the same ideology that these imbeciles online were having. And that's clearly not how it worked. Back then, if anything you want to say, I wasn't depressed back then. I was truly happy. I truly was. I was truly enjoying myself. But if you want to say that, be my guest. But where were we here? So I continued filming the reviews. Number 4, 5, 6, so on and so forth. Receiving limited attention. Maybe between 0 and 5 views per video. I remember my first subscriber ever. He was this one amateur magician. See, already I was having a unique fan base. What is my fan base nowadays? Bodybuilders, heavy metal enthusiasts, the whole 4chan crew, and the guys on the B9. They are back. Guess you could lump that in with the heavy metal enthusiasts. I suppose they're bloggers. All the bloggers on Tumblr. A few guys on Reddit here or there. So it's a unique pairing, but it's a nice one. And it is. And back then, my first subscriber was this amateur magician. Forget his name. If you're interested, I'm sure I could find him and I could link him to his channel. I remember that he would always sit cross-legged and he had really thick, hairy legs. He must have been a portly individual, but that is of no issue. He was my first subscriber. I don't think he's still subscribed anymore, but always the first subscriber, sticks out to you. At least for me. But things were pretty quiet. It was the early 2011 doldrums, if you will. 52 minutes will take us to the top of the hour, and then maybe the next VORW will be part 2. This might be like a 3 or 4 part series, but it's always good to have something to talk about, and know you have something to talk about. So, pretty much it was that. But finally, I told a friend of mine about this. My channel. I said, oh yeah, I got it. They were saying something about YouTube channels. Like one of them had a gaming channel. Another one just sat there, didn't even do anything for his channel. I said, oh yeah, I got a YouTube channel. I'm trying out new thing. I'm doing energy drink reviews. I wasn't doing food reviews back then. So anything when guy told the other person, that it spread like wildfire through the young acquaintances in the establishment of education which I attended at the time. It spread like a wildfire, if you want to call it that. So all of a sudden, it was almost like a mini, viral video. It pretty much was. The same type of thing that would happen, when someone goes viral, but on a significantly smaller level. It went from having maybe 0 to 5 people watching your videos to over 300. And that's a massive increase. And nowadays, you could say 300, 300, that's nothing, right? Still is. Think of it now. 300 people. That's a lot of people right there. 3, maybe even 500, 600 people watching these videos now. Many of whom I knew personally. And even then, people might be thinking right now, holy S, looking at this guy's earlier videos, this must have been such a cringe fest, But it really wasn't. Because like I said, a majority of these people knew me, personally. Saw me every single day. So it wasn't like seeing some random dude on the internet and just making impressions based off of, 5 seconds of film which you saw and made a blatant, quote, observation. Because it's really not an observation. More like an opinion. So it's not that. These people knew me personally. They knew what I was like in real life. They talked to me. They saw me. So it was more like seeing someone that went, to their school or a friend of theirs. So it was actually incredibly supportive. It really was. So that was actually kind of cool. Thus, shoutouts were born. Because people were actually legitimately watching this stuff. Which surprised me. But still surprised me that someone will actually sit through 50 minutes of my babbling. Trust me, sometimes I can't even watch my own videos. It's the truth. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. But it is the truth. I figure one time seeing this stuff is enough for me. But anyway, they legitimately liked it. And that was nice to see. It was almost like the precursor to my modern audience. Mainly supportive with a few jerks here or there. So shoutouts were born. And shoutouts were insanely popular. I mean, you wouldn't believe it back then. I mean, I was... You should have seen this stuff. Seriously. I actually had a special notebook dedicated to shoutouts. And I would actually... people would actually come to me and ask for a shoutout on my videos. And I think that's really something. They actually come to me and they'd say, "Oh, can I have a shout out?" Give them a pen in the notebook, and I'd say, "Yeah, write it down right here. Right here." And just after one day, I would have literally almost 2, if not 3 or 4 pages. I mean, I remember one time, someone actually took the notebook for the shout outs and just passed it around the whole classroom, and literally everyone in the class wanted a shout out. And I gave every one of them a shout out too. You see, back then, some of my shout outs may not have been the most appropriate ones. But that's what happens when you delve into the mind of a young teen at the time. And that's what happens when you delve into the mind of a younger teenager. Everything has to have some subliminal sexual message or some subliminal drug reference or some subliminal swear in it. That's simply how they operate. I'm not saying, I know there's probably some younger individuals, and I hope you are an outlier to that, but it's just, at least at the time, back in 2011, how it was. So some of the shoutouts weren't the most appropriate ones, but I had a policy at the time. Anything that's written down, assuming it didn't have an F-bomb in it, I would broadcast. And maybe that's the reason why they were so popular at the time. But everyone wanted a shout out, and people would get them. Now, these shoutouts had a major following, and everyone in my grade. I mean, everyone wanted one. And I gladly obliged. I'd say the peak of these shoutouts came maybe in, I don't know, probably mid-2011. But I would give shoutouts to everyone. So with that being said, shoutouts were given, and that really helped keep them going. Because now, even then, in early to mid-2011, my videos became, instead of just a study regarding energy drinks, became more of something to do now, something I enjoyed doing. So, with that being said, I started continuing things on. Now, you might be wondering, you see I believe it was review 14 maybe? Could be wrong. But it will say somewhere in between review 10 and 20. There's a review missing. Okay? And let me just say this, it's irrecoverable. There's no way of ever seeing it again. I understand, but there is no way of ever seeing that review again. It is gone. It doesn't exist anymore. I've looked for it. I've looked and looked and looked for it. It's gone. Forever. And I apologize for that. And there's probably not a single person listening who even was around or remembers it. But I remember it. The long-lost review. Maybe they'll find a tape of it in some old warehouse or something, like they normally do with old TV shows that they think don't exist anymore, or recordings of. But, whatever. The point being, that review was probably the peak of the shoutouts. And then, subsequently, they rapidly decreased. One of these shoutouts involved a... I'm sorry, people. It's just so pathetic I have to laugh at it. I do. And it's maybe a good thing to laugh at your own shortcomings every now and then. But I can't help it, people. I can't. One of these shoutouts was... Regain your composure. Lecturer review bra. That's what I'll call myself now, okay? Lecturer review bra. When I do this, when I stand up here and talk like this, and pace about, microphone in hand. I'm still smiling right now. One of these shoutouts involved a hand gesture, which I willingly obliged, along with a sentence. So, I gave the shout out, along with the rest of them. And I did an energy drink review also. If you were curious, I do remember this though, I was wearing black pants, a blue shirt, dark blue sweater vest. It was a tie with some green in it. And then a blue windbreaker over it. That's what I was wearing there, if you could visualize that. But I gave a lot of shoutouts, and I reviewed a Mountain Dew, actually. It was a limited edition at the time, and I reviewed it. So, one of these shoutouts involved a hand gesture, an obscene hand gesture, involving a phrase, likewise, added to it. And I thought, no, nothing's going to happen with that. I'm just giving a shout out. But don't you think it was an uproar the next day after I did that? And the straw came when someone had, I guess, a photo of me doing that as the background of their phone. And after I said that, I got home and I said, literal words, I said, F this. Went up and deleted the video. And I issued a video the next day saying, I'm through with these damn shoutouts. I said, all these people, it was just, of course, like one or two people doing this. I said, all these people are just trying to screw me over and just making fun of me. No one takes these videos seriously. And I said, I might shut the channel down because of this. I made it clear. I made my point clear. I'm not going to do this anymore. And that's pretty much where shoutouts died after that. I said it was out of control and it had to stop. So it did. It wasn't that funny to think about, though. Also, the subsequent announcement video also ceases to exist. But isn't that something to think about, ladies and gentlemen? That since early 2011, for over 3 years, ladies and gentlemen, I've been pulling the same exact stuff that I have been doing now in regards with 4chan and Tumblr and Twitter and all these social media networks saying stuff about me. When depression will get bad and I'll take all their comments seriously, I might say something in the VORW shows or make a comment somewhere and I'll say, why do I still make these videos? Why do I still produce this content if nobody takes it seriously? Why bother? I said that probably back in March or April of this year. Also February, January, December, November, October. Every single month, pretty much, for the past 8 months. I've said it at some point in time. But could you imagine that all started 3 years previous? We got a tradition going. But with that, shoutouts came, and they passed. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to VORW, the voice of the Report of the Week. Thank you for listening to this broadcast. I wish I could have covered much more. Literally, I just covered the history of my channel from its conception in early 2011, the 20th of February, to maybe mid-2011. And I have so much more to share with you. But we're out of time, and I do hope that you could stick around for the next broadcast, hopefully this Sunday, where we'll cover more of the history of my channel, hopefully maybe from mid to late 2011. Because there's more to this channel than you think, and I hope you can understand that. Because I have plenty of stories about all my adventures and misadventures with this channel that I've never shared before, but I'm going to do so now, and I hope I could answer a few of your questions at the same time. Your feedback is appreciated. Thank you for listening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have a great day. Thank you. This is the voice of the Report of the Week, signing off.